Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are, Blues. It's Stephen here, back with another video and another match preview ahead of City's final Club World Cup game against Juventus in the group stage. A chance to go top of the table and a chance, hopefully, to avoid Real Madrid in the last 16. It feels inevitable that we're going to get them, doesn't it? All we got to do is win. A draw is enough for Juventus to finish top of the table, and we presume at that point Real Madrid would be waiting in the next round. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm sick of Real Madrid. I'm genuinely sick of them. Some of you guys want to play them. I don't think it's fun playing them every single week, personally, so I cannot be bothered with that. So please, Manchester City, win. Today, of course, we'll talk about what the particular 11 could be, go through the team news, just through the general news of Manchester City anyway, because there's been a little bit of transfer news going around, some speculation. We'll talk about all that stuff. And we'll just sort of talk about the Club World Cup and where we could go from here and what this result could mean if we get through. Well, we are through. If we get through as top or if we get through as second. And I guess we'll also, as I was saying, we'll try and guess the team and work out what it's going to be, because something tells me this team could be an awful lot closer to what we could see as potential starting 11 or strongest 11, in inverted commas, at very least in Guardiola's eyes, because the vibes are good, and I think City are moving in the right direction, especially after the impressive victory the other day. The 6-0 was an awful lot of fun, wasn't it? Just about over the very late night of that game, which destroyed me, if I'm being honest with you. It was a really bad idea. Great fun to watch it, but bad idea to stay and try and survive that game. So let's go over to the context of this game anyway. I'll go through the results so far of the Club World Cup. Before I get the tab up, 1 second, give the video a like. Please subscribe if you're new. It helps support the channel. Don't forget there will be a watch along tomorrow. It's at the very reasonable UK time of 8 PM, which I can't wait. So I'll be up for that. I'll be watching it. The link is in the description below. It's on bigup.com/Esteemed Kompany. It's a cracking platform. Join me over there about 10-15 minutes before the game kicks off, and we'll have a good old chat and chin wag together. It'll be fun. So here's the context of the game so far. I'll go to where City's group. There we go. Where's the table? Where are the tables? There we go. We're in Group G, of course. I feel like we're in Group G a lot. I'm not basing that off. Currently second in the table based off goal difference. The goal difference is exactly the same, but actually it's goals scored. If the goal difference is tied, it goes to goals scored, and Juventus have the honour of having one more goal than Manchester City, so they're currently top of the table. So all they've got to do is get a draw, and they will finish first ahead of City. Wydad and LA obviously going out of this, and we'll face, depending on how it goes, one of Madrid, Salzburg, Hilal and Pachuca. Salzburg obviously could go through. Their final game is Pachuca. I mean, technically Real Madrid could still go out. They're not going to, but it is possible. Like if Hilal somehow beat, Al Hilal beat Real Madrid and Pachuca. No, they can't go out actually. Yeah, never mind. They can't go out. They're through anyway. They can finish first or second. They're going to beat Al Hilal. I'm going to put that out there for you. They're going to beat them. They will win that game of football. So they'll finish first. If you want to avoid them, we should finish first too. If not, we'll probably get Salzburg. Well, we almost certainly will get Salzburg, who will beat Pachuca, you'd think. So that is the reality of that. I'm annoyed with them. I mean, I don't really care about the bracket and all that kind of stuff. I'd rather just avoid Real Madrid. I just don't want to play Real Madrid. It's boring, man. I don't care if it's a harder bracket the other way. I just don't want to play Real Madrid. Does that make sense? I'm just bored of playing them. They're an irritating team to play against. But they've not been actually great in the tournament so far, Real Madrid. Look at the results. They've sort of, they won 3-1 against Pachuca, but look at that. They got 25 shots against. They got hammered. I don't know how they somehow managed to come out 3-1 victors there. Xabi Alonso's already got that spammy, Real Madrid look installed into his repertoire. Of course, as a former Real Madrid player, that's probably why. But either way, 25 shots against Pachuca, and they weren't that much better from what I can remember against Salzburg as well. Let me find the game against Salzburg. Where was it? Oh, no, they're playing the final game is against Salzburg. I got confused with that. Okay, against Al Hilal as well, they drew 1-1, which was not very impressive. And look, based on possession as well, it was very even. So, yeah, they couldn't finish in front of goal. They should have won Pachuca. Go to Juventus, of course. Let's talk about the actual team we're going to be playing in this tournament, which would make an awful lot of sense to do it. Where are the results? Full match schedule. So we'll look at Juventus' results so far. Juventus have actually had a pretty decent run of it. 5-0 up against 5-0 win against Al Ain in the first game. After that as well, I think they won 4-1 against Wydad in Philadelphia. So against Juventus, Yildiz has had a really good start so far. But yeah, it was a brace from Mawani and Conceição, and Yildiz, of course, as well with the goal. Not convincing, but not fully convincing. You see how they play there. Cambiasso, of course, lost something to prove in this game in his eyes. Thuram, Weston McKennie, Costa, Conceição, Yildiz, Mawani. It's a good bunch of players, to be fair. They did finish 4th last season in Syria. And obviously, they're not the side that they used to be, but they're still a very good side. They have lacked a clinical edge in the last few weeks, where so I was thinking, not a few weeks, the last few months, where they've been getting a lot of draws. I think 16 draws in the last season. 16 draws is an awful lot. It's Arsenal's Invincibles level without the goals, without the wins. An awful lot of draws. Fraser, I'll get back to him, mate. Sorry, look, I've barely had any sleep, pal. I've not applied to anyone, so sorry, pal. It's nothing personal, mate. Sorry. And I've not been doing many videos either, as people probably noticed. I've been very tired. So sorry, Fraser, in the chat there. I'll get back to your emails, mate. But yeah, Juventus have been a pretty boring team so far, in over the past few months at least. Where in the previous game they got on, where has it gone? 4-1 against Wydad previously. Yildiz nearly got a hat-trick, but it was given as an own goal against Botul. Can't pronounce it. But Wydad had plenty of shots on goal as well there. So Juventus haven't been exactly at this free-flowing best. They haven't been at all. As you can see there, though, very similar lineup once again. But they had Kelly and Kalulu, centre-back alongside Savona. The guy we've been linked to, actually, so we can play it right back as well. But the front three of Yildiz, Conceição, Mawani, very locked down compared to Manchester City's, which have been changing an awful lot. The George, you got to remember those early newborn days, by the way. By the way, quick aside, because I know people hate it when I talk about parents. Some people don't. Anyone prefers newborns, so it's weird. Newborns, I love my son, but they're so boring, man. It's just, they don't do anything. They just keep you awake and cry all the time. So I'm in that stage where I'm like, oh my God, newborns are tedious. I love him, but tedious. I don't get why people prefer newborns to older babies or toddlers. They're way better. The older they get, the better they get, in my opinion, because they can actually, they're little people then, they're more interesting. That's how I feel about it anyway. I'm in that Nicholas said I'm in a hater mood today. I am in a hater mood today. I'm hating today on everything. I'm just bickering about it. I've turned into an old man, bickering about the world, just shouting at the clouds. Yeah, fuck you all. A lot of yous. Not really. No, you though, in particular. Yeah, you. You know what I mean? No, I'm too nice to even say that. I love you all loads, really. But I am in a hater mood anyway. But back to this game of football. Look, Juventus, of course, I want to see it to win this. They'll fancy their chances, Juventus. They're in a decent unbeaten run. I think there's 7 games unbeaten, 5 wins and 2 draws in the last 7. They won each of the last 3 meetings against City as well. 2-0, of course, in Champions League triumph in December. It's one of those things where it's... They're a side that we were poor against in the Champions League. It was really disappointing how poor we were, actually, when it was a very poor Juventus side against us, but that was right in the middle of that winter months where we were absolutely terrible. Of course, as well, this tournament now should start to heat up a little bit. The first couple of games for us were tests, if we're being honest. They were sort of pre-season vibes where Guardiola played a whole bunch of players, very different players, of course, in each game, and now you've got a City side that I suspect Guardiola will approach as something towards his best. That was how we lined up against Wydad, where Rico Lewis, of course, who won't play, Vito Rice, and Nathan Ake, Nico O'Reilly, Savio Foden, Tijana Reinders, Jeremy Doku, Ryan Cherki, and Omar Marmoush with Edison in goal. It was massively changed against Al Ain, and City were very good in that game as well, actually. An awful lot of fun that game. We had Ortega in goal, Kusanov, Kanji, Vardio, Nico Gonzalez, Nunes, ait-nouri, Silva, Gundogan, Haaland, and Echeverri. They've lined up. That's sort of how it was tactically, actually, to be fair. Nunes was playing as a right wing back, really. They've got ait-nouri for someone in midfield. That's definitely not right. I don't know what they're doing there with the... that's weird. But that's sort of... They were the collection of players there. And it was sort of like that, if we're being honest. So what do I think Guardiola's going to do in this one? On the Nunes front, by the way, I just saw this. Jack Gorn saying that Guardiola is... Where's it gone? He's thought to be unsure about the continued viability of Nunes at right back. I saw Jake in the chat saying before that I win. Look, I don't want to win in this. My my opinion on Nunes has always been strong that I didn't think he was good enough immediately for Manchester City. But I was basing that on midfield, by the way, and as a 50 million signing, and as a guy who's meant to take over from older midfielders, he's been an absolute massive failure on that front. And I mean, as a midfielder, as a guy who was meant to be the in the pipeline to replace Bernardo Silva and Gundogan and all these players as they got older and moved on, and that's what he was brought in to do. Don't mistake it. He wasn't brought in to be a £50 million squad player who converts at left wing and right back. He wasn't. In the end, he's turned out to be a quite likeable player. He has with obvious abilities that sort of suit being out wide. And Jake, you mentioned this actually, that you'd suit that role, and you were right to 30, mate, a while back. And he can play decently as a right back. But I think Guardiola's biggest reservations about Nunes was that he is, not smart enough to play centrally. And I think Guardiola's right about his viability long-term as a right-back too. I think he's got better, but I do think that he doesn't have the elite level mentality to be the guy you lean on in a Champions League semi-final at right-back. I just don't see it. I'm sorry. I still don't see it. I think he's mistake-ridden because I don't think he has the focus. Weirdly, Cancelo was actually quite similar. Cancelo made big mistakes in big games every now and then defensively, which I don't think we would have won a treble with. It's one of those things where I think Nunes is really good, and Cancelo obviously much better than Nunes as a footballer. But I think some players are prone to switching off in big games, and I think Nunes in particular doesn't really. I think Nunes is a very good athlete, and around good players looks like a good footballer. I think he is. But I think we're elevating him up a little bit, and I think his own attitude is really good for what it's worth. I've got to give him that credit. But I think, just to sort of touch on that bit of story there, I think Guardiola is actually right on this. And I think if we carry on presuming that it'll work, I think we could get a Fabian Delph situation where Delph had a really good year actually in the Centurion season, but the year after that experiment, it just the arse end of it fell out, and Delph started to make more mistakes. It didn't work long term because ultimately, you can only patch over a crack so long, but unfortunately, it starts to seep and leak anyway. And I don't think Nunes is a long-term solution. I don't think Zini was a long-term solution. Delp wasn't a long-term solution. There's a reason these players, they don't last forever. It's because they're flash-in-the-pan moments where teams eventually start to notice their weaknesses, And I wouldn't trust Nunes as good as he's been against Real Madrid in the semi-final. No chance. Never mind a final. I think anyone who does is being naive. You want higher quality than that, So we need right backs. I agree with that. Congratulations to McAtee, by the way, for getting through to the final as well. Juma Bar gone to Nice there, by the way. Nice. Very happy for him. Echeverri was wanted by Lille until relegation, which brings me to something I want to talk about. Unfortunately, let me find this bit of news. Let me find the video. Echeverri, not good. There we go. There's your boy on crutches. He was spotted on crutches. I mean, that was what hurt him there. I mean, look at that ankle. It looks nasty. I'm sorry for the squeamish there. It's one of those things where... It's just one of those things where, it's unlucky. And he could be out for an awful long time. Victor, it's just me getting ready, mate. I go live, then I get everything ready. But I trim it down afterwards always, pal, so... And there's an element as well of me getting ready, by the way. You ever wonder why it's delayed at the start? The amount of times I do a video where I go live, if I go live straight away, then people come in and start in the comments. All they do is talk about things I've already talked about. So sometimes it's worth letting me get people in a little bit when they're watching live, just so people don't start repeating the same things over and over again so everyone watches it. So there's an element of me getting ready, an element of that too. And as I say, I always trim the video afterwards as well. So if you get it afterwards, it should be within an hour. It should be trimmed down so the start should be where it is. But I won't worry about it. It's just what it is. It's only 2-3 minutes afterwards and I'm ready anyway. But yeah, it's unfortunate for Echeverri. I think Echeverri is incredibly unlucky. I think he was going to get the odd chance here in the early stages of the season. It could have been a lot of games where he was sort of left off as well at the same time and been a bench player. Oops, nearly put you onto my emails then, which would have been interesting. You're not having that. But I feel like it reminds me a little bit of Oscar Bob, doesn't it? The Oscar Bob, of course, was much further ahead. Cafunas, sorry about Robert. This Cafunas slander is despicable. Look, I've got nothing against Nunes. I'm just being realistic. And apparently Guardiola agrees with me. So there we go. There was also, there was a Jack Gorn tweet, wasn't he, about, where's it gone? About we wanted to bring more players, academy players, apparently. Where's it gone? There's the Echeverri video, by the way. Looks ropey, that, doesn't it? Oh, Echeverry, mate. Yeah, it looks so that pal, unfortunately. I'm trying to find it. I don't know where it is, but Jack Gorn did an article saying he wanted to bring... I like this, by the way, about the... Apparently, this is about... this was from yesterday about the change in the approach in coaching. 90 members of staff are within the perimeter of the pitch, helping in some way, and there comes booming encouragement in a way that hasn't always been evident during City training. Peripheral members of the backroom setup are screaming positive reinforcement. It's loud, it's more in your face, it's presenting an energy. Everything has, according to the sources, doubled. The intensity's up, the staff are on them more, and at the moment players are responding. Players are talking up multilingual linders amongst themselves. The article went to say apparently there's coaches who were just silent throughout the entirety of training sessions last season, which is wild. Things were really bad off the pitch last year in many ways, and Guardiola's come out and absolutely ripped things up and changed it. So yeah, which I like it. But anyway, Jack Gorn did an article where apparently he said like they feel like 4 need to leave still, on top of the ones like McAtee, Walker and Grealish who aren't already here. And I think, Kovacic is not here either. You got to add Kovacic into the seniority of this squad still. Absolutely, players need to leave. Like, Guardiola is not going to go into the squad with 25, 26 players, because one, you can only have 25 anyway. He doesn't want that many players left at home. So I think there's an element of some players are in for a rude awakening when we get back. We know Gundogan's probably going to leave as well. Guardiola apparently wanted to take a bunch of academy players, but then decided to change his mind because he didn't feel they were going to play, which is logical, you know. It is what it is. Let's go on to the predicted 11 anyway. Where are we at? So it's going to be something approaching the strongest 11. Shall I draw the lineup that I want to see? I want to see this. Your boy Ederson in goal. Ait-Nouri, who I felt was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic against Alain. By the way, I've not even dared to watch my match reaction back. I had a little bit of hate in the comments for that one. I can only apologise. You're repeating yourself a lot. I was insanely tired. I'd had an hour's sleep in about 2 days, and it was 4:30 in the morning. I apologise. I didn't realise I was doing it, but I was probably borderline drunk. Not through anything other than tiredness. So if it wasn't the best content, maybe consider the fact that I recorded it at 4:30 in the morning and just skip the video before getting too negative in the chat. I'm sorry it was a crap video, but I tried my best, lads. I really did. Which is what I want to see. I want to see Vardy out here. I want to see... Diaz hasn't played yet, has he? I wouldn't... Yeah, he hasn't played yet, Diaz. Has he played yet? Have I lost my mind again? He has played. He has played. Of course he has. No, of course he has. I remember wearing the armband. Yeah, as a sub. Yeah, he has. You know what I want to see? I want to see this. This is what I want to see. I want to see Reece and Kusanov. This would be my dream, this. I'm going to put my dream lineup here. No offense to Diaz. This is what I want to see for pure entertainment reasons. I want to see this. 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 Like, this is what I want to see. I want to see your boy Shirky, Marmoush cutting inside there. Ait-Nouri up here. Foden sort of relatively out there, but Shirky will drift around. I want to see Vardy, Reece and Kusanov. These guys up there. I want to see something like this because I think that could be an awful lot of fun. That would be cracking fun. That would be so much fun. It's one of those things where it's there, you got for me, you got the young lads, Reece and Kusanov. No chance, but I love Vitor Reis. I truly think there's something there. Some players you just watch and they just become some of your favourites. There's something about Vitor Reis that I love, man. I love. I think he's a young John Stones. I truly believe there's immense potential there. I think Marmoush is... Ait-Nouri playing out wide up there. Look, Shirky and Foden, these guys can just move about a little bit, but Reinders and Rodri is beautiful. These guys can do what they want here. Haaland, of course, linking up with these guys around him. Kusanov and Vardy covering the channels and pushing up a little bit like they were doing anyway. I want to see something like this. It'd be good fun. What I expect to see is, I don't expect Rodri will start. I think it'll be your boy Ilkay Gundogan. Gundogan's playing good, isn't he, at the moment? It could be... Yeah, I think it'll be Gundogan. I think Gundogan will play in this game. I think this guy will be... I think it'll be Diaz. And I think, unfortunately, Manuel Akanji will be playing here. And I think Ait-Nouri will play again. I think Haaland will play. I think Foden. I think it might be this. It's going to be Gundogan or Silva. And I think it will be something like that. It'll be something like this. I know. I mean, not against this Juve. This Juve side isn't that good, John, in the chat. I would love to see Nico Gonzalez, by the way, as well. Hot zits. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it'll be Gundo. It could be Bernardo or Silva. It'll be Gundo or Bernardo. Gundo or Silva. But Reinders is going to start. I'll give that as a lock. Guardiola clearly loves Tijana Reinders, and rightfully so. He's very, very Guardiola coded. Can you have a Nunes at right back? Yeah, because Nunes, he's going to play three at the back like this. He's not going to play Nunes up here with Foden there. He's going to play... I mean, he could play deeper. He could. That means he wouldn't play one of the players. He probably won't play... He could play both Gundo and Silva then. That means sort of Nunes pushes up like that, and then we have Reinders sort of here. It could be like that. If Nunes plays right back, Foden isn't playing. It'll be Nunes up there. Akanji's going to start, lads. Akanji, by the way, was man of the match in previous games as well and actually played well. So you can say he's done, Steve, but Guardiola loves Akanji, so... Oscar Bob won't start either, unfortunately. He won't start, unfortunately. I think it's going to be something like this. This is what I suspect it'll be. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll probably actually win this. I've got a feeling it's going to be good fun. What I want to see... Yeah, look, I don't think Nunes is going to be... I don't think he is. I really think Guardiola isn't going to play Nunes as a right back much as we think he is. I think Guardiola wants a new right back. I might be wrong with that, but it's going to be something like this. I'm expecting we'll probably win this. I think we will. I think we... Yeah. Good to see Ake play this game, but I think it'll be Vardiol. Unless Vardiol... I don't think he's going to be injured, mate. Who called that? It was Jake at Hull. I don't actually know on that front, pal. I think Guardiola hasn't done the press conference yet. There'll be one later on, so that'll probably be slightly date this video when he comes out and goes, player X, Y, and Z aren't available, and this guy's starting, and he isn't. So we'll see what Guardiola says afterwards. But that is sort of my prediction, be something like that. Sorry, Steve, your team kind of stinks. Which team? Because this isn't my team, mate. That's not my team. That's what I think Guardiola's going to do. My team is fucking awesome, pal. So you're wrong there, Miracle. The one I wanted to pick is wonderful, and if you think that's wrong, unfortunately I have to say that you're wrong. I get the power to veto you on my channel. So yeah, my team is like the fucking amazing, pal. It's perfect because I'm a godlike genius, of course, and I'd never got anything wrong ever in football. Wrong all the time about everything, but I won't stake my slander on here. Yeah, no, I mentioned that earlier, Lee. I was talking about it for a little bit about Nunes. Now, honestly, I'll go back to the team that I wanted it to be again. What I would love... I just like Vitor Reis, man. I'm a Vitor Reis admirer. You know, I think he's fantastic. Let me have it. And I think Kusanov is a perfect right channel occupier. I think that... I just like that. I like it. It makes me happy. Foden and Bobo, you know. These guys, one of those guys can go there. I mean, Rodri obviously in an ideal world plays there, and you got Tijana Reinders, and these guys just sit there, and you got Marmoush off Haaland, and Shirky does what he wants, and he's shirking about. Ait-Nouri's just going boom, 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 cutting forward, and these guys are just drifting in, and Shirky's going, I'll go this way for a little bit, and Marmoush goes, I'll go that way for a little bit, and he goes here, and that's what I would love. That I think that'd be so much fun. Good on you. Miracles apologised. Keo Bagol said your team sucks butt, little bro. How dare you, man? Miracle saw the light and apologised. Miracles do happen, mate. A bit of humility in there. This team would be great fun, by the way. I'm being semi-serious. What's everyone else's dream partnership? I love the idea of Kusanov race. I think there's Cambiasso and Rodrigo in. Victor just wants the big diet boys. By the way, I'm not against Rodrigo coming into Manchester City Football Club. I think he's a very good player. What I will say is you can't have your Rodrigo cake and eat it. You can't have your Rodrigo cake and eat the Oscar Bob cake or the whoever cake. I think City are moving away from wide players anyway, by the way. I think that Rodrigo can play as a sort of inside forward, to be fair. But I think Guardiola wants to play wide fullbacks. So it's one of those things where I don't think he's going to play many wingers anyway. I think ait-Nouri's been earmarked as the guy on the left who can offer the width, and he's going to want Marmoush sort of close inside, so we'll see how it goes. I think we're going to have a very different style of football next season. We will see. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. I love you all loads. I will be live tomorrow for the watch along on bigup.com/Esteemed Kompany. It should be an awful lot of fun. I want to see you there. Give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you tomorrow for another video. I'm going to eat a cheeseburger. Bye-bye.